Listen for these vocabulary words while I read the lesson. Edible, eland. Think about this question while you watch the video. For generations, the great herds had migrated with the seasons, and the group had always followed them. The route had always been the same, and the paths were familiar. But then the seasons changed, and the earth got a lot colder. Wait a second, this sounds familiar. Wasn't that movie with the little sloth dude and the tiger guy with the big teeth? You know the one. Yeah, that one. In the last lesson, you learned about the changes in Earth's climate as the Ice Age began. As the temperature around the world dropped, water got trapped in ice caps in the polar regions. As these ice sheets got thicker, they covered large parts of Earth. The ice advanced and retreated many times. Each time it did, Earth's climate changed. Some warm areas grew sharply colder. In these areas, fierce blizzards raged over long, dark winters. Some wet areas dried up, and plants died. It wasn't winter all over the world, however. Areas of the world that have hot jungles today might have been very different during the Ice Age. Because of the world's climate changes, some animals died out. Others moved to warmer areas. Still others, like the huge woolly mammoth, adapted to the cold over thousands of years and survived until the climate grew warmer again. The woolly mammoth gained a thick layer of fat to survive the cold. Its large body conserved heat better than those of small animals. Mammoths used their huge tusks to crack through ice and snow to find food. Looking at this picture of the woolly mammoth, what other ways do you think it was well suited to survive in the Ice Age? Several animals that lived during the Ice Age were very large and had huge tusks. These include the mastodon, an elephant-like animal, and the saber-toothed tiger. Like the woolly mammoth, they died out at the end of the Ice Age. Humans had to change to survive, just as animals did. Some groups of early humans stored fat in their bodies to help them survive the winter. They also developed new tools that helped them hunt in the cold weather. Other early humans moved to new places to find the food and water they needed to survive. In these warmer places, there were more plants and animals. Scientists believe that beginning about 1.5 million years ago, these early humans in Africa migrated to Europe and Asia. These migrations took hundreds of years. Look at this map to see the migration routes these early people took. Scientists have identified early human groups who migrated. Two groups are Neanderthals and Cromagnons. Both groups of early humans settled in Europe and in Asia. In 1856, an explosion shattered the quiet, peaceful German valley of Neander. No one was surprised by the explosion. After all, workers were blasting away some rocks. This blast caused a different kind of explosion, however. This one was scientific. The dynamite uncovered a strange skeleton. Scientists discovered that the skeleton belonged to an early human that they had never seen before, Homo neanderthalensis, Neanderthal man. Since that time, scientists have found Neanderthal skeletons in Europe and Southwest Asia. The discovery of these skeletons is one way we have evidence about the migration of early peoples. Scientists have concluded that Neanderthals lived around 200,000 years ago. From the shape of their skulls, we know their brains were very different from ours. Neanderthals may have had better vision than we have. Their throats could not produce a wide variety of sounds. However, they were similar to us in some ways. By studying skeletons of their hands, scientists know that Neanderthals were skilled with their hands. They built rafts by tying logs together with strips of animal hide. Some scientists think they made fishing nets too. In 1868, French railroad workers at a shelter called Cromagnons found skeletons of another early human no one had ever seen before. These early humans came to be called Cromagnons, after the place the first skeletons were found. Scientists discovered that the Cromagnons lived about 40,000 years ago. Smarter than the Neanderthals, Cro-Magnons were able to make better tools and better weapons. This helped them become skilled hunters. Cro-Magnons were also talented artists. They made flutes and played music on them. They also painted the caves at Lascaux that you read about in Lesson 1. Cro-Magnons were taller, thinner, and less hairy than the Neanderthals, and looked much like we do today. The Neanderthals and Cro-Magnons shared the world for thousands of years. Then, according to theory, about 30,000 years ago, all the Neanderthals died out. No one knows for sure why. Some scientists think the Neanderthals lost the competition for food and died of starvation. Others think the Cro-Magnons, who lived in Southwest Asia, invaded Neanderthals living in Africa and in Europe. In the battles that resulted, the Neanderthals may have lost and died out this way. In 1940, a human skull and leg bones were discovered at Border Cave in South Africa. People quickly started digging for other early human remains in Border Cave. Scientists have also discovered bones from 43 mammals, including humans, elephants, and creatures that no longer roam Earth. All these bones and tools found in Border Cave provide clues about life 90,000 years ago. Border Cave is located in the side of a cliff in the northeastern part of South Africa. The cave overlooks a grassy river bank where, in ancient times, herds of deer-like animals called eland grazed. Humans who camped in Border Cave long ago probably traveled miles to hunt the eland. Small blades found in the area suggest that bows and arrows may have been used for hunting. Until recently, the oldest discovered carved bone tools were about 25,000 years old. A recent discovery in South Africa at a site named Blombo's Cave now dates this technology back to about 70,000 years ago. The carved blades that were discovered there were decorated with designs. Scientists believe that the people of Border Cave knew a great deal about the plants around them. To survive, people had to know which plants made medicines, which ones were edible or safe to eat, and which ones were poisonous. Scientists have also found remains of grasses on the cave's floor. They think these grasses served as soft bedding. Other clues suggest that the first humans made campfires to cook and to light the cave's darkness. In Border Cave, South African archaeologist Peter Beaumont found the complete skeleton of an infant. The baby had been buried in a shallow grave with a small seashell bead. This discovery suggests several important things about the people of Border Cave. They may have been the first humans to care for their sick and to bury their dead. They also placed flowers around a dead body and marked a grave with animal horns. All these clues suggest that these people had a system of religious beliefs. What about that bead? Why would these early people make a bead out of a seashell. After all, a bead cannot be eaten, and it is not a useful tool. The seashell beads suggest that these early people valued beauty. Around the same time, the Cromagnons were creating their cave art. Today, many archaeologists believe that cave art was used for religion as well as for beauty. Here's what you learned today. First, as a result of the Ice Age, Earth's climate changed. Some animals died out, while others were able to adapt to the changes. Second, some early humans migrated to new places to survive. Neanderthals and Cromagnons were two groups that settled in Europe and in Asia. And third, Border Cave is an important archaeological site in South Africa that gives valuable clues about what life was like about 90,000 years ago.